Hi everyone, I hope you are doing good. Myself Ramu Samneni, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, PFSTR, Vadlamu. So today I would like to discuss about the
this video I would like to discuss about the topical dosage forms, rectal, vaginal, parenterals, ophthalmics, otics and nasal dosage forms. Topical dosage forms are mainly, these are the external preparations, mainly these are having the semi-solid in nature, and while you applying these products onto the skin or rectal area or in nasal mucosal area, mainly the topical dosage forms like ointments, creams, paste, gels. So the ointments are the semi-solid greasy preparations which are mainly application to the skin or skin area, rectal or nasal mucosal area. The base usually having the anhydrous in nature and immiscible with the skin secretions. The ointments are maybe used as emollients. Mainly it is applying onto the skin, it produces the emollient action. Finely divided, the drug particles are suspended or dissolved in a medicament. Mainly while you applying these ointments to the skin, it is having that humectant nature or emollient nature. So other topical dosage form like a creams, these are also semi-solid preparations. Is mainly consists of the mixture of oil and water. The creams are divided into the based on the phases are existed. The creams are divided into the two types. One is oil in water type and water in oil type. The oil in water type, in this case, oil is the dispersive phase and water is the dispersion medium. And water in oil type of cream, so in this case water is the dispersive phase and oil is the dispersion medium. The oil in water creams are mainly having that comfortable and cosmetically acceptable in nature, and these are having the less greasiness, and these are more easily washable by using with water. So the oil in water mainly composed of the small droplets of oil is dispersed in the continuously medium, it is a aqueous medium, is a water. So it is oil in water creams are more comfortable and it is a cosmetically acceptable. These are less greasy than the water in oil creams. So water in oil creams are mainly composed of a small droplets of a dispersed phase is a water is dispersed in a continuously oil phase. So the water in oil creams are more difficult to handle, but many drugs which are incorporated into the water in oil type of creams are having the hydrophobic in nature, and this releases the medicaments readily from the water phase, and it is while these creams are going contact with the skin or mucous membrane, these are having the more moisturizing creams. They provide the oil easily barrier, and which is reduces the water loss from the stratal corneal layers on the epidermal part. These creams are mainly applied to the outermost layer of the skin. The oil in water creams, the perfect example for oil in water cream is a vanishing cream, and water in oil cream, especially the cold cream, is the example. So other topical preparations like gels or jellies, these are also semi-solid preparations in which liquid phase is constrained with a 3D polymeric matrix. The 3D polymeric matrix mainly consists of the natural or synthetic gums. These are having the high degree of physical and chemical cross-linking agents are there. They mainly the gels are using for some spermicidal activities. Mainly if you are administered the gels into the intravaginal area, the spermicide, it is acts as a spermicidal agent, and also some gels are using for the lubrication property, and these gels are having the high degree of physical and chemical cross-linking agents. The next poultice, this is a very rarely used product, mainly for the external area. We are applying these poultice products. Mainly they are applied onto the skin, especially the product is in the hot condition. The poultice must retain the heat for a considerable time because they are intended to supply the warmth to the inflamed parts of the body. Especially these poultices are mainly using for the controlling of the any inflammation or any infections on the skin. Mainly you applied these poultices. The example for the poultices is Squalene poultices. According to the British Pharmaceutical Codex, we are preparing these poultices. These are having the soft and viscous in nature. These are looking like a pasty preparations. Mainly we are using as a external product. The pastes are basically, it is looking like an ointment, but it is having the high percentage of insoluble solids are there. The extraordinary amount of the particular matter mainly consists of it is producing the stiffness while you are applying the product onto the skin. The high stiffness is there and high percentage of insoluble solids will be there in the paste. The pastes are having the less penetration and less macceration property, and it is having while you preparing the pastes, less heating is required comparing to the ointment. The pastes make particularly acts as a good protection barriers while you are applying onto the skin, and the solid containing to absorb continually onto the skin, and thereby it is neutralizes these toxins, certain toxins or a certain oxides chemicals are reacted with your skin. Maybe these toxins are the unabsorbable noxious chemicals may be going to absorb while you applying to the paste onto the skin. Because of that, it is having the comfort, it is going to increases to the patient. Like ointments, pastes forms a unbroken relatively water film onto the skin while you are applying. These ointments and pastes are mainly using for the to the skin or mucous membrane layers, mainly for controlling the high radiations like a sunlight or infrared radiations, and you need to enlighten your skin, and you need to controlling any rashes on the skin or any infections or inflammations on the skin. Definitely these ointments and pastes are these are readily to cure that, and giving that the skin is in bright, increasing the brightness on the skin. These are acts as an effective sunblock agent, so we can also calling as the pastes are less greasy because of the absorption of the fluid, hydrocarbon fractions, especially they mainly consist of while comparing to the ointments, the pastes will be less greasy in nature, and but a high percentage of insoluble solids are mainly present in the, especially in the ointments, but in the pastes are mainly consists of the less percentage of insoluble solids will be there, and mostly these are having the high stiffiness compared to the ointments. So the other topical dosage forms, the paste mainly classified the pastes into the two cases. One is a fatty pastes and the other one is a non-greasy pastes. The example for fatty bases is all Leazer's paste, and the non-greasy pastes, the example is a Basurin paste. So the other topical products like a dusting powders, these are you applying for the facial powders, you can also calling as these are having the free flowing nature. These are having the very fine powders, mainly applying onto the external layers of the skin. These are not using for the open wounds. If you are applying dusting powder to the open wounds, these powders, if it is powders are not sterilized, definitely the powders are powder particles are going to impregnated into these open wound, and maybe the microbials are going to entering into these wound. Definitely the wound is going to spread it. That's why these dusting powders are not applying onto the open wounds. And the dusting powders, betterly you will go for the sterilized, then only it will be applying onto the external layers onto your skin. The transdermal patches, these are also topical preparations, mainly applying onto the skin or mucous layers. You can also call it as a transdermal patch or a skin patch. Mainly the patch is mainly consists of the medicated agents are mainly present, and these medicated agents are adhere to the skin while the patch is attached to the skin. Slowly the medicament is delivered, a specific dose of medication is delivering into the skin and into the bloodstream. Directly it is going to enter into the bloodstream. So the advantage of transdermal route while comparing to other route such as oral and topical, these are providing the controlled release of the medicament, and it increases the patient compliance. The first commercially available patch is available in India is a scopolamine. This patch is mainly made for the motion sickness, especially for the children's. So the plasters are also a solid or semi-solid in nature, mainly adhere to the skin when applying onto the layers on the skin. These having the backing layers especially is made up of the cotton felt line or a muslin line that acts as a backing material, as are mainly used for these plasters. It's greater increasing the protection and the mechanical support, and it is also furnish an occlusive or an maceration action, and it is also bringing the medication into the close contact with the surface of the skin. So liniments are the fluid or a semi-fluid in nature. Occasionally the semi-solid preparations intended for the application onto the skin. So these liniments are applying onto the skin, maybe these are having the oily nature or alcoholic in nature, or a oily solution and emulsion. Mainly you can make that oily liniments or emulsion liniments. You can alcoholic liniments is also possible, and these are mostly applied onto the skin mainly for the massage action, and it is also producing the counter irritant action. But liniment should not be applied to the broken skin. Lotions, these are applied to the broken skin also, or open wounds also. The lotions are applied with the lotions are applied without friction, but liniments are applied with friction. So they are either the lotions are applied onto the skin mainly for to deserving acts as a dressing material, or covered with a waterproof mainly to reduce the evaporation of the droplets from the skin. So the example that means the skin will be having that wetness. It is controlling the dryness on the skin. Mainly these lotions are helpful for to protect the skin while you applying onto the suitable dressing or covering layer on the skin. So these calamine lotion, I think everyone is seen in the calamine lotion. Mainly we are applying onto the skin of the babies, mainly to protect the skin of the children's. It is going to go for the dryness on the skin. Definitely the wetness on the skin will be there while you are applying onto the calamine lotions. So Collidons is a solutions of nitrocellulose in either acetone or sometimes with the addition of the alcohols. So it is a generic name is a pyroxylin solution. It is having the highly flammable nature. As the solvent is evaporated, it is dried into the cellulose like a film on the skin. So that's why the Collidans is having the mainly the composition of the nitrocellulose. And the compound what remover, it is mainly consists of the, after applying these Collidans onto the skin, you definitely apply to the water remover. The water remover is mainly consists of the acetic acid and salicylic acid and an acetone Collidan base mainly used in the treatment of the warts by the keratolysis process. These Collidans are mainly helpful to control the any inflammations or infections on the skin and also is having the highly highly flammable nature. That's why you should also preferably using as a compound water remover. After applying to these Collidans, you need to apply the compound water remover. The paints or the liquid preparations mainly applying onto the skin or mucous membrane, and these skin paints are mainly containing the volatile in nature and they evaporated very quickly to leave a dry resonance film on application site. So that's why the paints are having that the highly evaporating property. You need to try to controlling the dry resinous films of the medicament. Throat paints will be suggestible. The throat paints are having the more viscous in nature and mainly it is containing the high content of glycerol and it is designed to prolong the contact of the medicament with the affected site. The pressurized dispensers like aerosol products, aerosol sprays are also there. These are also applied as a topical area. Several different types of products are available, are packed in a pressurized nozzles or dispensers. That's you can known as aerosol products. Surface sprays are mainly produce the droplets 100 micrometers in diameter or a greater diameter also while based on the spraying nozzle pressure or whatever the pressure you are applying on the spraying nozzle. It maybe produces the greater diameter of the particles onto the application site. So these are also used as a surface disinfectants, wound or burn dressing material, and also to relieve the irritation of the bites. And also while you applying these sprays onto the skin or mucous membrane, these are is available as a solution forms or also available as a powder form. You're filling onto the containers with a pressurized nozzles and these pressurized containers you can calling as these are the aerosol sprays and the container you can name it as a aerosol container. So the rectal dosage forms like a suppositories, pessaries, nasal cones or ear cones. The suppositories, different types of suppositories like a rectal, vaginal, urethral, nasal and ear. The suppositories are a small solid medicament. These are usually a cone shaped in nature, that is inserted into either into the rectal area or vaginal area. If you are inserted the suppository into the rectal, you can call as a rectal suppository. If you are inserted into the vaginal area, you can call as a vaginal suppository or a pessaries. And it can be easily melted with your body temperature. The ideal body temperature of the humans will be 37 degrees centigrade plus or minus 0.5 degrees. And the ear cones, if you administered any rod shaped into the ear, you can call as ear cones. And nasal cones are also available. The urethral suppositories are also available. The urethral suppositories you can also call it as a bogies. So enemas is mainly it is looking like a liquids, and mainly these liquids are introducing into the rectal and colon via the anus area. So enemas are the evacuated enemas. Mainly it is used to controlling the bowel movements or bowel stimulants, mainly to treat the constipation. The example for the soft soap enema or a magnesium sulfoxide enemas. You see your children, especially they are having the motion problem. Some of your grandmothers, they applied some of the soap onto their rectal area, and that is acts as a mainly the stimulant action. Because of that stimulant action, bowel movements are going to increase, then free motion will be happened for the children. So I think you are already seen your grandmothers are applying the soap onto the rectal areas. So the volume of evacuant enemas are mainly reach up to the 2 liters and they should be warmed to a body temperature before administration. So the warmed evacuated enemas are applying onto your body temperature. Based on your body temperature, these are going to melted easily. So retention enemas, their volume does not exceed the 100 ml, and in this case no warming is required like a evacuated enemas, and enemas are also producing like a suppositories local effects and systemic effects. In the cases of local effect, the barium enemas are mainly using the constant substances, mainly radiological imaging on the bowel movements is mainly happened. These are barium sulfate enemas acts as a local effects. The systemic effect also especially happened in the case of nutrient enemas, which mainly containing the carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals. They administered the substances into the bloodstream. This may be done in the situations where it is impossible to deliver the medication by the mouth, such as and in the cases of antiemetics drugs. In this case, the systemic effect enemas are mainly preferable because of the having that directly these substances are entering into the bloodstream. They produce the better action comparing to the local effect enemas. The vaginal dosage forms you can also call as a pessaries. These are also semi-solid preparations or designed mainly insertion into the rectal, insertion into the vaginal area. While they contact with your body, then they will go for melt or dissolve in nature. The pessaries are called as a molded pessaries are available, compressed pessaries are available, or vaginal capsules are available. The molded pessaries, you see that this diagram is a molded pessaries. Okay, and they are having the cone shape or mainly similar to prepare like a suppositories molds. So compressed pessaries may also available. These are available as a compressed suppositories. They are having a different shapes. Mainly they are prepared by the compression process in similar manner to the oral tablets, how the oral tablets are going to compressed. Same way the pessaries are also going to compressed by the help of compression process. They applied the high pressure on that process, then they will make as a different shapes are available for the compressed pessaries. The vaginal capsules are similar to the soft gelatin capsules while they are administered by the oral route. But the vaginal capsules are mainly administered by the vaginal insertion. These are having the different sizes and different shapes. You see in this diagram, through the vaginal, the capsule is going to enter. Mainly these are the cases you can call as this is the pessaries. So after that, it is going to, with the help of the this mainly the vaginal capsule is entering through the vaginal area. You can call as these are the pessaries. So you see the vaginal ring, mainly the vaginal ring is having that dot net shaped polymeric ring. Mainly these are made up of the polymers. Mainly these are designed to release the medicament in a controlled manner in the vaginal area over the extended period of time. Several vaginal rings or products are available currently in the market. Mainly the rings like a firm ring or Nova ring are available. The firm ring is mainly consists of the low dose of estradiol acetate. These ring mainly consists of the Nova ring mainly consists of low dose contraceptive vaginal rings. Mainly this releases the progesterone and estrogen, especially in the case of Nova ring. But firm ring is mainly consists of estradiol acetate. Is mainly manufactured from the silicone elastomer, mainly for the relief of the hot flashes and vaginal atrophy associated with the menopausal problems. So this firm ring is going to administered. The menopausal problems are going to controlled and mainly because of these vaginal rings. And lower rings are having only low dose contraceptive drugs are administered, especially to increases the levels of the progesterone levels and estrogen levels in the body in the of the women especially. These are also administered better. It increases the production levels of the hormones, especially progesterones and estrogens. Douch is a device actually it's mainly introducing with a stream or water into the body cavity for a medical or hygienic reasons. So it's a Douch is device mainly is introduced mainly in the cases of whenever the need is arises is acts as a like a body cavity. These are mainly for the medical or hygienic reasons. These are introduced. So this is a T-shaped intrauterine device are also available. It's a controlled device, especially used for in the cases of birth control. So this you can call as intrauterine device or T-shaped device. This is the world most widely used device. In the cases of the baby is a reversible case. You try to remove the baby from the mother uterus. This device is using especially in the case of babies are having the reverse birth control. These devices are fitted with the inside or removed from the uterus by the doctor. See, it remains in place of the mother uterus in times of pregnancy. Depending on the type, a single intrauterine device approved for based on 5 to 10 years use. They are having the broad categories of intrauterine contraceptive devices are available. Mostly these are made up of the inert and copper based devices. These are called mainly these are two shapes are available and two categories are available. One is A category and second one is a B category. The A category is having the inert and copper based devices and B category is having the hormonally based devices that works by releasing the progesterone. The parenteral dosage forms are you can call as in directly administering into the bloodstream or systemic circulation, especially it is infusing into the any liquid product into the with the help of the syringe and nozzle, and you can administer any liquid product into the directly veins or directly to the subcutaneous layers of the skin. So mainly these are having that you are administered the dose into the veins, you can call as intravenous injections. So it is a liquid administered directly into the bloodstream via the vein, you can call as intravenous injections. It is having greater advantages of greater rapid onset of action is there, and wherever the products are needed, the onset of action will be very rapidly. In that cases, you should administer the products into these intravenous injections. Definitely, the maximum amount of the dosage form is directly entering into the bloodstream, and it is produced as the maximum bioavailability. The other injection site is intramuscular site. Maybe you directly inject the solution or inject the liquid preparation into the muscles. Many vaccines are administered mainly by the intramuscular areas. Depending on the chemical properties of drug, the medication may be either absorbed by quickly or by slowly. So mostly the site of administering is mainly based on the selected dose and selected drug. So intramuscular injections are given in the deltoid and vastus lateralis and ventrogluteal areas, dorsogluteal muscles. So these are intramuscular injections are administered on the different sites. Mainly these are the sites we are applying the intramuscular injections. The subcutaneous injections is given by injecting the fluid into the subcutaneous layer, the layer on the skin directly below the dermis layer and epidermis layer. The subcutaneous injections are highly effective in especially for administering the vaccines and such medications like insulin delivery. Especially we are using the subcutaneous site. The inhaled products dosage forms, the inhaled products like solutions or suspensions or emulsions, these are available. The dosage forms we can administered by the inhaled route, and these inhaled dosage forms are also mainly consist of the mixture of the propellants. These are administered under the pressure with the aerosol containers, and this releases the dose of the medicament slowly in the form of the droplets. The size of the droplets is 50 micrometers or less sizes also can administer the droplet size onto the inhaled site, and you should administer with help of the metering devices. Then the patient easily inhale the medication slowly onto the particular site. Then the patient will feel the comfort mainly for the inhaling and releases the medicament in a mouthpiece, especially for asthmatic patients. better you can using these devices. And sometimes the valve and actuator is mainly by finger pressurized, but the valves are mainly controlling the spraying of the droplets and the size of the droplets while you applying onto the inhaled areas. The droplet size and the inhaled pressure is very important one in the cases of inhaled dosage forms. Especially we are using the patients who are having the asthma or bronchial asthma or respiratory problems. We are administering the dosage forms by the inhaled route. The inhaled dosage forms, nebulizers or atomizer, you see that this is a nebulizer device, mainly administered the medication to people in the form of a liquid mist droplets we are administering to the airways. It is mainly using especially in the cases of asthma and also for other respiratory diseases. It pumps the air or it is oxygen intake through the liquid medicine to turn into the vapor, which is then inhaled by the patient. A general rule, a doctor generally preferably to prescribe the inhalers for the patients because of these inhalers are cheaper and these are more portable and these carry the less risk and side effects. The nebulizers for this reason mainly it is recommended only for the serious case patients, especially those who are having the respiratory problems or respiratory diseases or severe attacks. Especially in that cases only the nebulizers or atomizers are recommended by the doctor to the people. Next one, ophthalmic dosage forms. Any dosage form we are administered to the eyelid or eye cavity, that dosage forms we can call as the ophthalmic dosage forms. Especially drops. The eye drops are sterile in nature. Mainly these are having a single administering site, or mainly it is mainly having the saline containing drops are used as a vehicle to administer the medicament to the eye. So depending on the condition we are being treated, many of the steroidal drugs, antihistaminic drugs, local anesthetic drugs or topical anesthetic drugs we are administered by the eye drops. But eye drops sometimes do not having the medication in them. They are only using for the lubricating property or a tear replacing cases. We are only using some of the eye drops. And including the drops, we are also having the ointments and gels. These are sterile, semi-solid in nature. Mostly the eye ointments and gels are intended for application to the conjunctivita of your eye or eyelid margins only we are administering. But the better patient compliance, better acceptance will be there for drops, eye drops comparing to the ophthalmic ointments and gels. The ear drops you can call as the otic dosage forms. While the sterile drops are inserted in the ear cavity, mostly these are available as a solution form, suspension or emulsion form of the drugs. These are instilled into the ear with a dropper. So you need to use these mainly for controlling or treating the ear infections, especially in the infections in the outer ear and ear canal area. And that cases these drops are also using. And these drops are also using to try to remove the waxy material inside of the ear, and that also is in some cases it is using to remove the excess wax material is present in the ear cavity. So the nasal dosage forms, the drugs in the solution may be instilled into the nose with the help of the dropper or from the plastic squeeze bottle. These nasal drops or nasal sprays are having the both local effect is there, especially the nasal drops. Examples of drugs we are administered by the nasal dosage forms like antihistaminic drugs or decongestant drugs we are administered. Alternatively, the drug may be absorbed through the nasal mucosa to the extent of the systemic effect. These nasal drops are also producing both local and systemic effect, but the local effect is mainly preferable comparing to the systemic effect in the case of nasal drops. The systemic effect of the nasal drops only we are using in the cases of severe problems like a respiration problem or the oxygen intake problems. In that cases only we are preferably using the systemic nasal drops or sprays. These are mainly contained the oily vehicles. The use of oily nasal drops should be avoided because of the possible damage to the cilia, and it is losing the sensory action onto the nasal mucosa. That's why the oily vehicles are not preferably using in the while you making the nasal drops or nasal sprays, because it is controlling to damage to the cilial area on the your nose, then the sensation on the smelling property is going to last continually because of the damage on the ciliary area on the nasal cavity. So I will show one video recording how the nasal spray is going to happen, how it is going to deliver into the nasal cavity.
LMA Mad Nasal is the safe and painless way to deliver medications directly into your patient's bloodstream without an intravenous line. To use the Mad Nasal, fill the syringe with the proper volume of medication and connect the atomizer. Place the Mad Nasal gently but firmly against the nasal opening and briskly compress the syringe plunger. The medication exits the tip of the Mad Nasal as a fine atomized mist, resulting in broad coverage of the nasal mucosa with a thin layer of drug. The medication rapidly absorbs across the mucous membrane into the bloodstream, as well as directly into the cerebral spinal fluid of the brain, avoiding first-pass metabolism. This achieves medication levels comparable to injections. Once in the bloodstream, the medication circulates throughout the body. In the central nervous system,
So this is where the delivery of the nasal sprays or nasal drops are going to talking onto the nasal cavity, mainly for producing both the local and systemic effects. So I would like to summarize the content. Today we are seeing the need of dosage forms, why the dosage forms are needed, especially for the patients, and different types of dosage forms we are seeing, and the selection of the route is also a very important one for delivering the dosage forms, and the mode of administering, what type of mode you are preferably administering the delivery of the dosage forms. So these videos we are learned why the dosage forms are very important one for the patients, and different types of dosage forms. Currently we are using oral, topical, parenteral, ophthalmic or otic or ear dosage forms, or especially for the nasal cases also we are using. And selection of route, either you are preferably using the route of delivery by oral or parenteral routes, the mode of administering mainly for you are administering by solid case or the liquid products or the semi-solids or biphasic products, whatever the dosage forms you are learned in this presentation. So in my next video I would like to continue for the next concept is a prescription. So prescription, I think everyone is seeing the prescription. Every case in the prescription we are having so many parts are there in the prescription. So this is a one general label for the recommended what are the parts are there in the prescription, and how this prescription is helping to the patient while they are writing the prescription, what are the precautionary things we need to maintain, and these are the things we will discuss in my next video. So these are the recommended books for the dosage forms concept. Like a Bentley textbook, Pharmaceutics, The Science and Practice of the Pharmacy, The Pharmaceutics and Science and Dosage Form by Alton, and Modern Dispensing Pharmacy by Mehta, and Pharmaceutics by Ashok Gupta, and Cooper and Guns, The Dispensing Pharmacy. These are some of the recommended books is already available in our library. Better you will go for these books, you will get a good concept in the dosage forms recording. So thank you for paying your attention. If you having any queries related to the dosage form concept, you may feel free to contact either by mail or by phone. So thank you.